complex pedantic serum.
Welcome to No Brainers on Quick and Easy Cooking. Let's get started.
Eating. Everybody loves it. Whether it's grilled hot dogs in the summertime or warm oatmeal in the wintertime, people the world over consume food.
The only problem is, unless you're eating popsicles or cereal, you have to actually cook your food before you eat it.
To many, this can be a daunting task, but it doesn't have to be.
In fact, the reality is, if you watch this videotape, you'll have a tight grasp on quick and easy cooking in no time.
We understand that cooking can be a challenge to some, so we've enlisted the aid of quick and easy cooking expert Marcy Rothman, author of The $5 Chef, How to Save Cash and Cook Fast. With her guidance,
we'll teach you how to be efficient in the grocery store and in the kitchen. Plus, you'll learn a slew of quick and easy recipes that are tasty, healthy, and won't break your bank account. But that's not all.
We've also included a small booklet with this tape. In it, you'll find an outline of the material we'll cover and all the recipes we'll demonstrate. This will make it a heck of a lot easier for you to follow along.
Before you know it, you'll be cooking up mouth-watering dishes that are quick, with ingredients that are easy to find and use. In just under an hour, you'll see that cooking can be fun without being complicated or intimidating. You'll learn recipes and techniques that are fast and convenient.
Quick and easy. That's a no-brainer. So without any further delay, let's get cooking.
Part 1. Homework before you cook.
Life is all about preparation, and grocery shopping is no different. So let's have a quick look at some of the measures you can take to make your experience in the supermarket and the kitchen as easy as possible.
Section A, Supermarket Preparation.
going to the grocery store without properly preparing yourself is like going into war without a battle plan. It's foolish. A little bit of research and preparation before you shop will cut down the energy and money you spend at the grocery store. In fact, let's have a quick look at the steps you can take to make for a more productive time at the grocery store.
Check your schedule.
You may not be eating at home every day of the week, so it's always a wise idea to check your schedule before you go shopping. In any event, you should have a pretty good idea of when you're going to cook the food you intend to buy. Too many people make the mistake of buying too much, only to have food sit inside of their cabinets or fridges for an indefinite amount of time.
Make a list.
Oh, it sounds obvious. It sounds banal, but it's true. Making a list before you shop makes for easier shopping.
All you need to do is spend a little bit of time checking the recipes you want to cook and make a list of the ingredients you'll need. And your journey to the supermarket will be that much more organized, focused, and efficient. A list will prevent you from buying items you've already stocked up on and lessen the chance of you being swayed by expensive impulse buys.
In addition to that, a list will help prevent you from overbuying fresh produce that risks spoiling.
Navigate the supermarket wisely.
The smart shopper, the informed shopper, the successful shopper is the shopper that knows the laws and the layout of the supermarket before they shop. This is the shopper that finds the deals. This is the shopper that saves the cash. This is the shopper whose time in the kitchen is quick and easy.
You see, the sections in the supermarket where you should buy most of your food are around the perimeter of the store. The fresh meat section, the fish section, the dairy section, the produce section, the baked goods section, these are usually located around the walls of the supermarket. This is where all the fresh food is and where you should be spending most of your money.
Shop seasonally.
The number of fast and inexpensive meals you can create with fresh produce is off the charts. Still, it's a good idea to shop seasonally.
Certain crops are harvested in the crisp months of fall, while others grow best in the pleasant months of summertime.
In any event, certain crops are in their prime in specific seasons, and their tastes and prices reflect that. Prices tend to be lower for produce that's in the peak of its growing season. Take tomatoes, for example.
In the wintertime, tomatoes tend to be flavorless, colorless, bland, and expensive.
In the summertime, however, tomatoes are juicy, red, cheap, and delicious. Because weather has such an effect on the price and taste of food,
It's important to pay attention to when different types of produce are at their peak availability.
All these tips should help you survive the cutthroat, nerve-wracking arena known as the supermarket. Familiarize yourself with them, and they'll serve you well.
Section B. Flavor enhancers.
Just because we're cooking quick and easy doesn't mean we have to give up on flavor. Here are a few flavor enhancers that you should keep on hand at all times in your kitchen.
garlic.
It cures what ails you. It wards off the undead. It spices up your dinner. Garlic. It's a cook's best friend. You can purchase garlic whole in cloves, pureed, or chopped. For home storage, you should keep it in a cool, dry place with good ventilation. Plastic bags are a bad idea for garlic storage because they create moisture that rots garlic, and nothing ruins a meal like rotten garlic.
To peel off a clove of garlic, you can loosen the skin by smashing it with the flat side of a knife.
Ginger.
It makes a yummy cookie, and it makes a flirtatious stranded movie star. It's ginger, and it deserves to be in your kitchen.
You can slice it, you can grate it, you can chop it, but no matter how you use it, ginger can bring that much-needed zing to a bland meal, or that extra touch to Asian-style dishes.
Whether you use it for stir-fry or put it in salad dressings and marinades, a little bit of ginger goes a really long way. There are a couple of ways you can store ginger. You can refrigerate it in a jar filled with white wine or sherry, or you can wrap it up in plastic and deep freeze it for as long as a month. And finally, ginger works best when it's unpeeled. This is because the essence of ginger is at its surface, and peeling will cause loss of flavor.
Onions.
If asked to choose between an onion and $1,000, I'd choose an onion every day, and twice on Sunday. Granted, I'm a bold-faced liar, but onions can add flavor to almost any meal.
Just like garlic, you should store onions in a cool, dry place with adequate ventilation. An onion should always be firm. A soft spot on an infant's head is the sign of a healthy baby, but a soft spot on an onion is the sign of a rotting vegetable.
In the event of a bad onion day, always keep a bottle of dried chopped onions on hand. A bit of dried chopped onion can add a meal-saving burst of flavor at the last minute.
Citrus.
When citrus like lemons, limes, and oranges are in season, it's wise to buy them up while you can. You can use the juice, you can grate off the zest, you can even use the outer peel. Having fresh citrus on hand can subtly boost the flavor of any meal.
Herbs and spices.
Herbs, spices, and condiments. They can enrich your life. They can enrich your food.
It's always helpful to have some mixed herbs on hand. Fine herbs work well with Italian food. 5-spice powder adds an Asian twist to meals. And curry powder works well with spicy dishes.
Herbs will help add zing to any meal.
So, those are some hints on flavor. Master the fine art of flavor, and you'll be that much closer to culinary serendipity. Flavor away, my friends. Flavor away!
Part 2. Let's get cooking.
Section A, quick and easy cooking methods.
Whichever cooking method you decide to use seriously affects the amount of time and effort you spend in the kitchen.
That's why it's important for you to choose a cooking method that'll save you time. And that's also why we've compiled a list of cooking techniques that'll help you whip up a meal in under 30 minutes. Take a look.
Broiling.
Broiling is a quick, effective way to cook chicken, fish, meat, or vegetables.
All you need to do is preheat the broiler to about 560 degrees Fahrenheit, and most styles have a broil setting.
At that temperature, you can broil chicken parts in 5 to 10 minutes per side. You can broil fish in under 4 minutes per side. Even meats like steak and pork chops cook unbelievably fast. Of course, these times are dependent on thickness, so you'll want to keep your eyes open.
How do you know when broiled food's done? Well, it should spring back to the touch and be browned, not black, on top. If you're cooking chicken, its juices should not be pink. If you're cooking fish, it should be opaque, not translucent. That means you shouldn't be able to see through it.
Also important, be aware of smell. With broiling, when you begin to smell an item cooking, it's usually almost cooked, no matter what it is. Cooking means being in the kitchen attuned to all your senses.
Also, be careful not to put your food too close to the heat. Food that's situated too close can start a fire if fat spatters into the heat source. Fat burns.
Broiling. It's good, quick eating.
Poaching. It's quick, it's tasty, and like all things fun, it involves liquid. Just take a liquid like water, broth, wine, or even orange juice, and then add skinned chicken parts or fish fillets. Flavor that liquid with herbs, onion, or garlic. Make sure you have enough liquid to cover the food and then bring it to a boil. Set the heat to simmer, then place the lid on the pan and let it simmer.
The trick here is that food cooks gently in simmering liquid. Boiling can toughen the food, or as with fish fillets, break it apart. Food is done poaching when it's not squishy, but not too hard to the touch. Thin fish, like sole or trout, usually cook in about 2 to 3 minutes.
This method works well for fish, chicken, and certain fruits like pears. It's also great on the old waistline because there's no added fat.
Poaching. Delicious, simple, fun.
Stir-frying.
Stir fry is a cornerstone of Chinese cuisine. And how can over 1 billion people be wrong? You can stir fry food, no sweat. It's basically just cooking small pieces of food quickly on high heat. Turn it up.
To stir fry, just stir small pieces of food into a skillet or wok on high heat with little or no oil. That's it. The trick here is to constantly move the food around in the pan or wok so that it cooks evenly. The food is done when it turns opaque. Vegetables should have a little bit of a crunch to them. Basically, the food cooks really quickly, usually in a couple of minutes. Still, make sure you don't overcrowd the pan. Too much food in the pan and the food ends up steaming instead of browning.
Taste that stir-fried magic.
Steaming.
It powers trains, it heats saunas, it cooks food. Is there anything steam can't do? I think not. Steaming is exactly what it sounds like. Cooking food by exposing it to steam. Rather than sitting in boiling water, food rests above it. This method cooks vegetables like artichokes, broccoli, and corn. It also cooks fish and poultry at breakneck speed.
How do you know when food's done steaming? Well, fish and poultry should be firm to the touch and opaque in color. Vegetables are done not when they're crunchy, but instead have just a little bit of texture. For example, overcooked asparagus are limp and flop when picked up. They should remain almost straight, but should not be raw. That, my friends, is good steamin'.
Steamerific.
Boiling.
Boiling. I like to call it nature's little miracle. Put water in a pot, apply heat, wait for a few minutes, and you're ready to boil. It works for pasta, rice, lentils, beans, vegetables, and of course, hot dogs. You can't forget those hot dogs. Basically, food is overcooked when it's mushy. For instance, pasta overboiled is almost gluey in your mouth.
Grilling.
Grilling, as you probably know, is cooking food over a fire. If you prepare your food while the coals or gas barbecue grill is heating up, you can actually save time and still enjoy top-notch grilled food. And those are the cooking techniques that'll add hours to your week. With that in mind, put on your chef's hat. It's time for...
Section B, recipes.
Okay, it's time. All that talk about preparation is over, and now, just as we promised, cooking expert Marcy Rothman will teach you a whole bunch of simple, time-saving recipes. You can find copies of these recipes in the insert booklet included with this tape. So grab your cookware and put on your apron, 'cause it's recipe time.
The first series of recipes we'll have a look at are salad recipes.
Salad. It's enough to get anyone excited. It's cool, it's colorful. It's the perfect addition to any meal.
And best of all, salad is easy to prepare. In just a short time, you can have a delicious, healthy side item. Add some fish or poultry, and it's a main course. Salad is culinary magic. Here's a few original salad recipes you might want to try.
Cool cucumber salad. This cucumber salad is an Indian-style salad that goes great with spicy meals. It's also good to serve with grilled meats.
Okay, let's have a look at those ingredients we'll need for the cool cucumber salad.
1 peeled, seeded, coarsely grated, medium-sized cucumber. 1 tablespoon of finely chopped onions. 1 small, finely diced tomato. 1 cup of plain low-fat yogurt, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh cilantro.
What we first are going to do is peel the cucumber.
All right.
Now, is that something you think you'd like to do?
If you trust me with it.
I absolutely do.
I've never peeled a cucumber before in my life.
Well, here you go.
Okay.
You just saw me do it, so you can do it too.
All right.
Now, the next thing you're going to do is cut the two ends off, and now you're going to cut it right down the middle. It's easier if you lay it down on the here so that you don't cut your fingers.
Excellent. How about if I do it this way?
That's good. Perfect. And here's the spoon that you use, and what you're going to do is just yank these guys right out like that.
All right.
That's what is known as seeding.
Now,
Your
some
fingers-
folks leave their seeds in there. Is
Yes.
that a faux pas? Or?
No, you can leave the seeds in. Some people don't like to chew on those seeds when they're in a particular salad, so
Right.
that's why we're doing this.
How's
And
that?
it's a nice technique to know. That's perfect.
Okay.
And then the next thing you're going to do is grate them. You could cut them, you could slice them if you wish.
Okay.
But we can grate them also. We got to cook here.
Not yet, Marcy, but...
Well, we're working on it.
Exactly.
The next step is we're going to chop up some onions, and you can use green onions like I have for color, or you could use a white onion if you wished. And we're just going to cut up just a couple, and we're just going to do them real fine like this.
Now, how much of the onion do you use when you have these kind of onions?
You can use as much of it, just cut off the ends. You could go into the green.
That gives you more color,
It
too.
gives you more color. And we're going to dump those right into our salad.
Okay.
Just like that. And that's about a little more than a tablespoon.
Okay.
But again, you can make this recipe and any of the recipes according to your taste. If you like onion, put a lot of onion in. If you like garlic, put a little garlic in. What we're going to do with the tomato is take the core out like this. And the other thing that we're going to do is just chop this tomato a little bit up. And this is why it's important to have a knife that is really sharp. So there you are, you've got chopped tomato. And the next thing we're going to do is start adding some non-fat yogurt, which I'm going to use about a half a cup of, and or a little tiny bit of low-fat sour cream, because some people don't like just yogurt per se. A little salt. This is cilantro.
Okay.
And we're just going to use it a little bit because it gives a great flavor. So what you're going to do is just cut up a couple of leaves like this so that we can put it in there.
All right.
And
now, the leaves are important, not the stem,
No,
right?
we don't want the stems.
Okay.
And I'm going to put in a big, healthy pinch of roasted cumin, and you do that by putting it in a little saucepan and just putting the heat on medium so that you can just toast it up a little bit, and it brings up the flavor.
Now, how's this?
Perfect. Just dump it in.
Dump it in?
And the next thing we do is mix it up, and we've got a cool cucumber salad that will be a fabulous side dish to go with just about any grilled or broiled meat that you want to do.
So this is the whole thing right here.
This is the whole thing.
If you want to vary this recipe, you can substitute cooked potatoes instead of cucumbers. You can even add a pinch of ground pepper, mint, or dill for different flavor.
Bread salad.
Bread isn't something you'd normally associate with salad, maybe in a crouton form, but more often than not, salad is breadless.
However, this recipe for bread salad changes all that. Bread salad is a tasty summertime dish that can be served with meat, poultry, grilled fish, or all by itself. Here are the ingredients you'll need to prepare it.
Half a loaf of day-old bread, cubed, 1 cucumber, peeled, seeded, and chopped. 4 medium tomatoes, peeled, seeded, and chopped. 1 small red onion, thinly sliced. 1 rib of chopped celery. 1 red green or yellow bell pepper, chopped. 1 teaspoon of capers. 4 tablespoons of olive oil. 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. Salt and pepper to taste. 1 tablespoon of fresh parsley.
There's not much here. What do we do to get started?
Well, the first thing we're going to do is prepare the vegetables, and it's not going to take much time, but we're going to peel the cucumber. We're actually going to peel the tomatoes.
How do you do that?
It goes into boiling water, and just put a little tiny cross at the bottom of the tomato, not where the stem is.
Okay, what does that do?
It just helps loosen the skin, and then it goes into the water for about 15 or 20 seconds. You don't want it in there very long, and I'm actually turning that off because the water's been boiling. And back over here, you'll see that the skin comes right off. And the idea of holding on to it with a fork is just so you don't burn your fingers.
Looks really easy.
It's very, very easy. Then After they've cooled just a second, what you're going to do, or what we're going to do, is actually peel and seed them. And you know, if you didn't have the time or you didn't feel like peeling the tomatoes or seeding them, that's okay too. It refines the salad a little bit so you don't have all these things in your mouth. We're also going to do the same thing with the cucumber. If you don't have time, you don't feel like messing with seeding, it's quite all right. Now let's say you wanted to make this salad and you didn't have day-old bread, so you'd cut it up in some big slices and put it in the oven for just a couple of minutes to take it down so it has much more of a dry texture to it. You can hear it just crunching, and it's not real soft.
Now we're just gonna coarsely chop the bread.
We're gonna coarsely chop the bread.
Do we need to take the crusts off?
Well, you know, I actually happen to like the texture of the crust, so you can leave it on, you can take it off.
And we just toss this right in with the
Yes.
the other stuff. Okay.
This is a little bit of celery because it does have some good flavor and some good crunch.
All right.
And what we're talking about, once again, is flavor, crunch, texture, color. You want as much of that going on in this salad as possible. Now I'm going to let you start to toss that salad around a little bit, and while I just cut up a few slices of red onion. If you didn't have a red onion, you could use a little bit of white onion. The red ones tend to be a little more sweet. And the next thing we're going to put in, I'm going to let you put in about a teaspoon of capers, salty little buds.
How do you chop onions without crying, Marcy?
Oh, this was
I was bursting into
You do them
tears.
quickly with a very sharp knife. About 4 tablespoons of olive oil.
Now the bread's gonna start soaking up the oil.
Yeah. And I'll let you toss while we put in a couple good healthy tablespoons of red wine vinegar, a pinch of salt. This is salt. So that's kind of a hefty pinch, maybe a little bit extra because you've got vegetables.
All right.
And a
pepper.
good dose of pepper, and I'll let you toss that.
Okay.
And I'm going to chop up a little parsley. If you had some fresh basil, you could use fresh basil.
Look at this beautiful salad. You made a believer out of me, Marcy.
Good.
This recipe is great for using that day-old bread cluttering up your kitchen.
Warm chicken salad with mustard vinaigrette.
This salad is a great low-cost alternative because it uses more greens and less meat. It's also fast and convenient.
One head of lettuce, red, green, romaine, or a combination, ripped into bite-sized pieces. 1 shredded carrot. 1 bunch of quartered radishes. Half a pound of chicken parts like breast meat. And for the vinaigrette dressing, 5 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 to 3 tablespoons of wine vinegar or lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 1 clove of pressed garlic, salt and pepper to taste.
This may seem like a strange place to start a salad, but the first step in making Marcy's warm chicken salad with mustard vinaigrette is cooking the chicken.
To save time while the chicken's cooking, get the salad ready. That means you can add whatever ingredients you want. These are radishes. You could put in some carrot. I like to use bag salad because it really does make the whole process go much faster. You can use regular lettuce. The salad does need to chill, and we're going to put it in the refrigerator while we make the dressing. And now for the mustard vinaigrette, which is an incredibly easy dressing to make. You're going to take about 5 tablespoons of olive oil. Put in about 3 tablespoons or more of wine vinegar. You can also use a lemon if you like. A hefty teaspoon of mustard, and I'm using Dijon mustard, a little hefty. A nice clove of garlic that you're going to press in so it gets a good bite. You can put a little bit of pepper and salt. This is a fabulously easy way to make a dressing, and all you do is mix it up. So it tastes good.
All right, Marcy, I've got chicken for you. You show me what to do with it.
Well, here we go. You take the skin off because you don't, nothing's worse than biting into a piece of skin like that. And you're going to take off the bone. And while I'm doing this, why don't you get the salad out of the refrigerator?
Okay.
And then we're just going to cut the chicken into some small bite-sized pieces. If you had some grilled chicken that was left over, you could do the same thing and not take it off the bone. You could just serve it with the bone in, but do it with small pieces. It goes right into there. Now we're going to put the dressing on, and you're going to toss it.
Okay.
You want to give it a taste?
Yes.
Okay.
That's very good.
If you want to save more time, you can always substitute bagged salad for chopped lettuce. Also, the salad can be made with almost any leftover meat, so empty those fridges.
Salad dressings.
A salad without dressing is like a cake without frosting, or a movie without popcorn.
Marcy's blue cheese dressing.
Blue cheese can be used in salads or pastas, or as a dressing or condiment for broiled or roasted chicken. Here is what you need to make it.
3/4 cup of low-fat mayo, 3/4 cup of low-fat sour cream, 1 clove of pressed garlic, 2 tablespoons of finely chopped green onion, 4 sprigs of finely chopped parsley, 2 to 3 tablespoons of crumbled blue cheese, 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, a dash of black pepper, a dash of cayenne.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to making Marcy's blue cheese dressing, but I've got to confess, I'm a little afraid about the fat.
Well, you don't have to worry about the fat. I have to worry about the fat at times. And we are using low-fat ingredients. We're using low-fat mayonnaise, we're using low or non-fat sour cream, even some yogurt if you wish.
All right, now I've got to tell you, when you're saying low fat for all this stuff, I'm thinking that we sacrifice something in taste.
Now, no, you don't, because remember we're making blue cheese dressing. Blue cheese has a lot of flavor, and we're using other ingredients that are going to give it a lot of punch also.
All right, well, let's get
Great
started.
flavor. The main ingredients are some low-fat mayonnaise, and we're going to measure out about 3/4 of a cup. And we're also going to use about 3/4 of a cup of sour cream.
So that's 3/4 a cup of mayonnaise
Right.
and 3/4 a cup of the sour cream.
Exactly. Blue cheese already comes crumbled, but if you can't find it crumbled, this is the way it comes. It has a wax covering around it. And what we're going to do, and maybe you can do it, you can just crumble some of this right into the,
Oh, look at that.
okay? And that's about 2 or 3 tablespoons. We're going to put a tablespoon of vinegar. We're going to put a little bit of zest of the lemon. And the zest is this. It's this funny little gadget, but you come right in like that, and it pulls just the outer peel. And if you don't have a zester, you can actually use the fine grater. I'm going to put just a pinch of cayenne. We're also going to put a little bit of green onion in. This time, we're going to use the ends of the green onion this way, just to give it a little color. Because
Is
it's
there
just a
more
little bit of
flavor?
I think sometimes, and it's color. Put a little bit of that in, and a teeny bit of parsley, just to give it some balance. We're looking for balance of flavors also, and that's why the vinegar went in, to just kind of cut that creaminess. I'd like you to mix that up
Okay.
real quick. We've got our lemon, so let's use our lemon.
Okay.
And what we'll do,
You can just squeeze lemon juice right in.
yeah, and you want to be sure that you've taken all the seeds out, and this one doesn't have any seeds, so it's going right in just like that. And maybe a good hit of pepper.
Okay.
We're also putting in a clove of garlic,
All right.
which we're pressing in. That's going to give it a lot of zip. Okay, I want you to taste it. Might need even a little more vinegar, but it could be real good right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah? Is that good?
That's a blue cheese dressing.
That's a
right
blue
there.
cheese dressing.
That's a good one.
If you're the daring type, you can substitute low-fat ricotta cheese for mayo and serve it as a warm pasta sauce. And remember, when using blue cheese, a little bit goes a long way. Okay, so your gut's full of salad. What's the next logical step? That's right, the main course. Check this out.
Fish with sweet and sour sauce.
Grab yourself some red snapper, and this meal will go great with rice and a salad. Here's what you'll need.
Half an onion sliced, 1 carrot sliced into thin 2-inch strips, 1 stalk of celery sliced into thin 2-inch strips, 1 pound of snapper fillets, 6 snow peas thinly sliced lengthwise, and for the sauce, half a cup of water, half a cup of sugar, half a cup of white vinegar, a 16-ounce can of pineapple juice, a dash of Worcestershire sauce, 1 or 2 tablespoons of cornstarch.
Fish is something that not many people like to cook, but we're going to be doing it in the microwave, and I'm going to show you how absolutely easy it is to do. We're
Okay.
cutting up some vegetables, some celery. We're making a bed, okay?
Okay.
And the bed is what the fish is going to actually lay on. So we're going to use a little bit of carrot. These are some snow peas. What you're going to do is take one of these ends, and you're going to take that string out. When you eat these, then you don't get this string in your mouth. So
Got it.
it's a nice way to prepare your vegetables. So you do that little chore there, and I'm going to continue.
Should I put them in here?
No, we're going to put those on top.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to cut these guys up. The smaller the pieces, the quicker they're going to cook. The fish is going to cook very, very quickly.
Okay.
Because we're using the microwave. It's about 4 to 5 minutes in the microwave, depending upon your own microwave. There's also some onion that goes in, and you don't want any brown spots on those onions if there are, or if the onion is particularly soft, don't use it because it's really gone bad. Then I'm just going to slice down a little bit of onion. It's a nice, pretty onion, actually.
So that's not an exact science. You just kind of get right to it.
No, see, and that's the whole point. None of this is a really exact science. We're just using, you want things to lay down so that the fish is not laying on the plate exactly.
Okay. What kind of fish do we have here?
This is snapper.
But
any fish would work, and you'll note that it's pretty thin, so it's going to cook pretty quickly.
Okay.
So you don't want it to overcook, and you're obviously this is about a pound, a little bit more, a little bit of pepper, some salt.
To taste.
To taste. Some people like salt, some people don't like salt. And I'm going to show you just a quick little way of how to make them go a little bit further, and you make them into little slivers like this. And when you do that, it looks pretty because you can kind of throw them over. And we can also throw the other whole ones in.
Now the lemon brings in the sour.
Yeah, well, and it just adds a little bit of color, and it's pretty. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a dab, and I do mean just a dash of white wine in here. So you just do it real tight, and I'm going to let you put it in the microwave.
We just put this in, this goes just right in the microwave.
Exactly.
How long we put this in here for?
For about 4 minutes, and this really depends on your own microwave. Our sweet and sour sauce, it's a base of pineapple juice. There's 2 cups of pineapple juice. There's half a cup of water. There's a half a cup of white vinegar, because here's where we go with the sour.
Got it.
And these measurements should be pretty exact. And a half a cup of sugar, a dash of Worcestershire, and about a tablespoon of cornstarch. You want to dissolve your cornstarch first so that you don't get lumps when you put it in. Okay?
Oh, okay.
And we're just waiting for this to come to a boil. The cornstarch is going to help it thicken up. You could put 2 tablespoons of cornstarch in. I happen to not like a very thick sauce. Thank you.
That looks good.
That's great. And let's test how it's done. This is done. It just is barely soft to the touch. It's firming up, actually, is what you want it to do, and so this is great.
All right, this is obviously boiling.
This is boiling.
This is where we want it to be.
It goes into a little sauce boat. You could pour it over the fish. You could serve it with the fish, and it's a great. This is such a wonderful dish.
Now this looks, I'm guessing, this looks healthy, and I'm guessing that it's pretty low fat, all the good things that a meal is supposed to be.
That's right. Fish is very low in fat. We didn't add any oil. We didn't add any butter. All of these ingredients have no fat in them. Yes, this is a wonderfully easy, no fat, low fat meal.
Let's get it to the table.
Okay.
This is the perfect meal to complete with a fruit or one of the salads we mentioned earlier. The sauce can also be used for chicken, shrimp, or meatloaf. You can also substitute fresh mushrooms for snow peas. Just a thought.
Turkey fajitas.
On any given day, you can throw an onion and hit some schmo eating a beef or chicken fajita. But the turkey fajita, that's the mark of a true trailblazer. That's the mark of a truly creative chef. Here's how to make them. 2 tablespoons of lime juice. 3 tablespoons of orange juice or tequila, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon chili powder, a dash of cayenne, 1 large onion, thinly sliced, 1 green bell pepper, seeded and thinly sliced, 2 medium carrots, thinly sliced, 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, 2 to 3 cups of leftover cooked turkey, 4 sprigs of finely chopped cilantro, 8 medium corn or flour tortillas.
Now this sounds like it would be a great idea for leftover Thanksgiving turkey.
It's a perfect idea for that, and if you don't have, it's not Thanksgiving, you can go to the deli, buy the turkey already cooked, and then just cut it up. So these are turkey fajitas that are incredibly easy to make. We've already chopped up, or actually sliced up, an onion as well as a carrot. And those are gonna go into a big bowl because what we're gonna do is make a marinade. But let's get our vegetables all together first. If you are using fresh peppers, cut it in half and seed it. And this is how you do it. You cut it in half, it's pretty basic. And these are the seeds, and you just usually just pull them right out like that. And any of this white that's around, you can just pull off.
Okay.
And then what we're doing is just slicing it into nice, thin little slices.
That's easy enough.
Remember, the smaller the pieces, the quicker they're going to cook when they're being stir-fried, and that's what we're going to be doing with this. The lime. If you're squeezing, you can always get the rest of the juice out by just kind of sticking your fingers in there. Also putting a little bit of orange juice in.
Orange juice.
Orange juice. It makes a nice combination. I'm just using a little bit of that.
Okay.
A half a teaspoon of oregano.
Okay.
And I love chili powder, so there's chili powders going in.
Now, can we vary the spices on this?
Absolutely. If you had some cumin, you could put cumin in. And no, we're just tossing it up. And you could let these marinate for about an hour if you wanted to. And if you didn't have any time to do that, just let them kind of just get mixed up around it in the juice.
Okay.
I've used a little bit of vegetable oil. Let that skillet just get a little bit hot. And see, it starts to sizzle when we put. So we're putting our vegetables in. And I'm going to turn this down just a little bit, but I'm going to let you do the tossing and the stirring. You're just going to keep those vegetables moving so that they just start to wilt down. They're going to get soft. Now, this was a turkey that we did get from the deli. If you don't like turkey, use chicken. If you don't have any chicken around, actually you could use a little bit. You could use beef. You could even use shrimp for this dish. Christiana, how are those vegetables doing?
They're coming pretty good.
You do want to keep stirring those vegetables so that they don't burn. Now, they are starting to get soft, right?
Yes.
If they still got some crunch in them, that's fine.
Do I need to cover these?
No, I would not cover them, because if you do, then they will start to steam and they're going to actually get more cooked than we want them to be. And we're just making this turkey into small pieces. And you don't have to use breast meat. You could use dark meat, any color meat. I'm using the rest of the marinade for the turkey. And what we're going to do is just throw this turkey in, a little bit of pepper, and a pinch of salt, maybe a little bit of extra chili powder. And I'm gonna toss it in there for you to continue moving around, and it'll just heat it up. All we want it to do is just get heated through. So you can give it a couple of quick turns. The tortillas we had right up here in the microwave.
How convenient.
What a great way to be able to serve fajitas. And follow the instructions on the package. This one said to wrap them in a damp paper towel and just put them in the microwave. And you've got tortillas. Let's take one of these and we'll show everybody. Put a little bit of that, some veggies. And again, we got a little more turkey. You could do more vegetables. It really depends on what you've got around. A sprig of cilantro. And if you like sour cream, you could put a dab of sour cream in there with a little bit of hot sauce.
That's just regular salsa?
Yeah, your favorite salsa. And you just wrap it up. And there you go.
The kick of lime in this recipe tastes great, but you can also substitute lemon. Garnishes you might want to think about are sour cream, salsa, or guacamole.
Crunchy Filo Pizza.
If you like pizza, then maybe you're looking to spice up your concept of what pizza is. If so, you just got lucky. Here's what you need to make Crunchy Filo Pizza.
4 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 clove of pressed garlic, 7 sheets of phyllo dough, half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 1 cup of grated mozzarella, 1 small thinly sliced red onion, 1 small thinly sliced zucchini, 1 small yellow zucchini, 2 thinly sliced medium tomatoes, 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of mixed fresh herbs, 1 handful of black olives.
All right, Marcy, we've got all our ingredients, but we've got one last chance. All I got to do is make a call. I can have a pie here in 20 minutes.
Don't do that. We have a great pizza right here. It's crunchy, it's got lots of vegetables, and it can be done in 20 minutes.
So you want me to put off the call?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll trust you on this.
Okay. First ingredient, and the main ingredient that makes this pizza a little bit different, is the fact that the dough that we're using is a phyllo dough that comes frozen, and it's easily found in your supermarket, and it's in sheets like this. And they're very, very thin. If it starts to dry out, with the way you really want to keep it is under a damp towel. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to brush a baking pan with olive oil. And you need some sides on this. And then we're going to put a garlic clove.
Again with the garlic.
Again with the garlic. We love garlic. Okay? Because this olive oil is going to be used to brush the phyllo. You have to be very careful that it doesn't dry out and it splits.
Very delicate
It's
dough.
very delicate dough.
Okay.
You're going to put a little tiny bit of olive oil over it like this because that helps what gives it the crunch.
Okay.
We're going to put another layer down. So then you've got the next one. And you can use even a few more. They'll let you do that. And if you are having trouble with your dough, just don't try and fight with it. There's always pieces in here that are really workable. And then I want you to brush the remaining olive oil on the vegetables. And let's just talk for a moment on the vegetables.
Okay.
This is a great summer dish because you can use a lot of the summer vegetables that we have. There's eggplant, there's peppers, there's onions, there's tomatoes, and zucchini. And
Pretty much you're free to put anything you want.
That's right. And if you wanted to put some meat on it, you could do that.
Just spread them out.
Spread them out. And again, it's just make it look pretty. You want these to be layered enough so that they'll be able to cook, particularly the eggplant. You can use any kind of mozzarella, Parmesan. We've got both cheeses. I've just gotten some black olives. Here we go. You can just sprinkle some of those on. If you have some from the deli, those work really well too. And it's ready to go into the oven.
At 350 to 375,
Yeah.
depending. Okay, about 15 minutes have passed, and we're ready to check on this pizza. Okay. Hot in here.
Have to expect that sort of thing in an
look
oven.
at that.
There you go.
Marcy, it looks good.
Looks great. Now the last thing that you do is take some fresh herbs because again, this is pretty much of a summer pizza. This is fresh basil, makes it smell wonderful. There's a little bit of oregano there.
I'll take care of these
Okay.
spices. You start cutting me a slice. I want to try this thing.
Okay. Now isn't that more fun than just a regular old pizza?
And we made it, too.
And we made it.
How about that? This is very good.
How's that for a pizza pastry combination? Olives and zucchini are optional in this recipe. In fact, you can top this dish with meat, shrimp, any ingredient you want. It's your choice.
Asian-style meatballs with garlic sauce.
From kindergarten to old age, humans love ball-shaped food. The gumball, the matzo ball, and yes, the meatball. This recipe for Asian-style meatballs is sure to be a winner for anyone who loves round-shaped food. Here's what you'll need.
Half a pound of ground beef, 2 tablespoons of chopped cilantro, 2 cloves of fresh pressed garlic, 1 egg yolk, half a finely chopped small onion, 6 chopped water chestnuts, 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, black pepper to taste, 1 pound of fresh cooked Chinese noodles. And for the sauce, 1/2 cup of water, 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of dried chili flakes, 4 cloves of finely chopped garlic, a pinch of salt.
This is a wonderfully flavorful recipe that's very easy to do. This is about 1/2 pound of ground beef, and you want to look for beef that does have a little bit of fat in it. I'm going to let you do the 2 cloves of garlic that need to be pressed in there.
Okay.
This is
Can I do that now?
Yes.
All right.
And I'm going to just chop up about 1/2 of an onion, real fine.
All right. How much onion do you want to put in?
I just put in a little bit of it's a small onion, just a little bit because you want a good flavor. These are water chestnuts. They've already been sliced, and if you want to, you could actually even chop them up finer. But in terms of doing something quick and easy, just take them between your hands and just kind of break them up.
That I can do.
And I think you can handle that. I'm going to chop up a little bit of cilantro here. These are great ingredients that go in to make a very flavorful meatball.
You
and
buy
for-
this fresh, take the leaves off the stem, and chop
Yes.
it up.
We're also going to separate an egg because we need the egg yolk in order to hold the meat together. You're gonna, here, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull it apart,
Yes.
and then you're gonna use each side of the egg half to kind of go back and forth. And while you're doing that, the only thing you want left in there is the egg yolk. You're doing
That's
very
the
good.
yellow part, right?
That's the yellow part. And that, for everyone, is also where the fat is. Now that's fine. You can put it right in there. Can you make about a teaspoon of that
Okay.
and put it in here? I'm going to take some pepper,
Teaspoon of
soy sauce.
soy sauce.
And you could probably put a little more in. Give it a little extra.
Watch this.
There you go. Great. And again, this is according to taste. You may want to put a little bit more in because we have a lot of beef. And this is also a great idea if you want to do something different with your hamburgers, just for something different. Think about adding things into the hamburger that make it really crunchy and interesting. And if you put this on the grill, you could it'd be wonderful. So instead of making meatballs, you could just make big patties. And then what we're going to do is just make some small balls, just like this. They're eventually going to go into a skillet. Sean, how you doing with those meatballs? They look really good.
They're coming along.
Yeah? Need a little more cooking.
Yep.
This is an incredibly easy sauce to make. It's garlic, vinegar, water, and sugar. And garlic, just for a little moment, let's talk about it. This is part of a whole head of garlic. This is a clove of garlic. So be sure that you know the distinction between the two of them, otherwise you could put a lot of garlic into a recipe that you didn't mean to do. Okay, the garlic goes in to the saucepan. Half a cup of water, half a cup of white vinegar, half a cup of sugar. Notice these are all equal portions. Some dried chili, you could use chili flakes because we want a little bit of bite to it. Some pepper, a little pinch of salt just to bring up flavor. This goes onto the stove, and what will happen is this is going to cook so that 1 cup of liquid goes down to boils down about 1/3. And it'll thicken the sauce, and then that sauce is used to go over the Asian meatballs, which are going to go on top of a bed of noodles.
Marcy, I've got a pan full of meatballs here.
It's really good, and as you do that, we're going to get this ready so that we can put a little bit of cilantro on for color. Again, if you don't like cilantro, go right ahead and use some parsley. And the sauce is going to really make it wonderful.
It's going to put it over the edge.
The sauce has reduced. It's not really, we're not looking for a very thick sauce, we're just looking for a reduced sauce so that it's a little bit less than what it was when we put it in.
Look at that.
And I would love for you to try one of those meatballs.
All
you
right.
can just pick one up with your fingers, why not?
It's very good. It's very good.
So there's your recipe for quick Asian-style meatballs. Make them, take them, store them for the winter.
Pork and mushroom stir-fry, Italian style.
Pork and mushrooms. 2 great tastes that go great together. Just grab these simple ingredients and you can make your very own pork and mushroom stir-fry without paying those outrageous restaurant prices.
1 to 2 tablespoons of olive or vegetable oil, 1 medium onion quartered and separated, 1 large pressed clove of garlic, 1 pound of pork cut into small pieces, 8 medium thinly sliced mushrooms, 2 teaspoons of oregano, salt and pepper to taste, 1 shredded carrot, 4 tablespoons of chopped barley, 3 to 4 tablespoons of white wine.
All right, stir fry. Marcy, do I stir or do I fry? Walk me through this.
That's a great line. You stir and you fry, and you don't need a wok to do it with. We can do it in a big skillet, which is what we're going to use. I want you to pull these onion pieces apart. Just kind of pull them apart so they're not big chunks. If you don't have any fresh ingredients, like fresh vegetables right on hand, something that you should always have in your refrigerator and freezer is frozen vegetables, whatever you like. These happen to be green beans, but you can buy frozen broccoli, you can buy frozen corn. It's wonderful to have on hand. You can always throw a little bit of it into whatever kind of a dish you're making.
Now, if I'm going to use the frozen vegetables, do I have to let them thaw first?
No,
or
you don't
just
want
throw it right in
to.
the
You don't want to
pan?
defrost them. Mushrooms tend to be a little bit pricey sometimes, so if you want to use mushrooms, just buy a couple of them and just cut them real thinly and
Spread it out a little
spread
bit.
it out. This is some red pepper that I have.
And you're just cutting these in
just in
strips.
very small pieces. For stir fried, the smaller the pieces, the faster the food is going to cook. You want to cut the broccoli into very small pieces because the broccoli is going to take the longest to cook. So actually, along with the meat, I would cook the broccoli probably first so it gets a head start.
Now, are these small enough to put in there, or should we?
Yeah, no, these are small enough.
Okay.
We need some big pieces of garlic.
Again, you smash that with the side of the knife so the peel comes off.
Right.
Okay.
Very
How's
good.
that?
Very good.
Okay. Do we want to put these in with our vegetables, or
Now
wait
let's
till we
leave.
just
I
put it
want to
in the
leave
pan?
those right out here.
Well, that's kind of like onion when you cut it, isn't it?
That's right. The last thing that we're going to do is our meat. And you could do the stir fry with chicken. You could use some chicken breast. You could use pork, which is what we are using. And when I was in the market, I was looking actually for pork that was already cut up. There's lots of times you find in the meat market, you'll find pork that's cut up for stir fry, but in this case it was not. These are some loin chops, and tenderloin chops. So we're just going to cut the meat up ourselves. We're going to cut it off the bone, and we're going to cut it up into some small pieces.
Now, do you want to, like, there's a little fat on the side here. Do you want to try to cut that off completely, or is that where your flavor is?
There's not that much fat here, and once we start cooking, it's not going to be that bad, but I do try to get most of the fat off.
But you want to leave a little on, though, right?
Yeah.
Just to be honest.
But when there's chunks of it like that, I do take it out.
Sure, sure.
The whole idea is that the food is bite-sized. You don't have to use a knife for it. It's great. It's very quick and easy way to cook. Just a drizzle. This is known as a drizzle.
Is that good?
That's a little teeny bit more, and you got a drizzle.
There we go.
And then just kind of move the pan around, just to kind of
Spread these out.
spread it around a little bit. The first thing I'm going to put in is the garlic. We're putting in the meat.
Okay.
Okay, I'm putting some of our Italian seasoning on it. What you're going to do is start moving this food around.
I keep moving it around. That is what I want to do.
And we are on a high heat.
So that's, otherwise
And you
it's
can
going to
see
burn.
it's already starting to turn color.
So how, do we want to get this completely cooked
We want it to
before-
be brown or turning white on all
sides before we start in with our vegetables.
Right.
So it looks like we're just about finished here with the pork.
Okay, let's put it into the bowl. Yeah, you can just pick that right up. Got your mussels there?
I do. Oh, the pan is heavy.
Yeah, it is heavy.
Sorry.
So I'm going to put in
The broccoli.
and the onions.
And we got to keep this moving. Is that correct?
Yes.
So these are the vegetables that take a little bit longer to cook.
Right. And the onions should be starting to just about get soft. You may just put a little tiny bit of
Let's do that.
water in here. Just kind of let them steam down for just about 30 seconds. And they're going to cook very quickly. And they'll just start to soften up, and then we open that up, and we'll add the rest of these guys.
Excellent.
Okay, open it up. And there we go.
Wow,
So,
look at that.
so see our onions are starting to get soft. Our broccoli's gotten greener. We're going to put this in. We're going to add a little more of our seasoning, the salt and pepper. Now these vegetables are looking really, really good. I'm going to put back our pork.
Okay. So this isn't really a finishing of the cooking of the pork. It's just to keep it hot, to heat it up again, back with the vegetables.
And meld it all with the vegetables.
Get the flavors going in together.
And see, by cooking everything in stages, then you also don't have your pan too full. So we've done everything in stages. Nothing was really steaming. We're down to the very last part where really all it does is actually just meld the flavors together. You're just reheating everything. Let's give that a taste. You want to give it a peek?
I do. That's good.
And that's a handy-dandy stir-fry recipe. If you're not a big wine fan, you can always substitute chicken broth.
Chicken in orange juice and rosemary.
Are you chicken crazy? Can you not get enough of the dumbest bird in the animal kingdom? If so, you've bought the right tape. Here's what you'll need for this chicken in orange juice and rosemary recipe.
Salt and pepper. 1 skinned frying chicken cut into 8 pieces. 1 heaping teaspoon of dried rosemary. 1 clove of fresh garlic. 1 cup of orange juice. 2 navel oranges. 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh parsley.
We're putting the chicken into a nice sized pan. We're going to add liquid to just barely cover it, and I am using orange juice. You could use white wine, you could use red wine. Poaching is a whole way of cooking that, as you can see, we don't have any fat in here.
So you're not just pouring it over it, you're pouring it up to the level of the chicken, basically.
Right. What we're going to do is put also a little bit of rosemary in here.
Okay.
Now, I'm using fresh rosemary, but you could also use easily dried rosemary. We're going to put some salt and pepper in. And what we're going to do is let this liquid come to a boil.
Can I use the big salt now?
It's your job.
It's the one thing I know how to do here. Garlic, your favorite.
Just a little bit of garlic.
A little bit meaning 2 cloves.
Well, just a couple of cloves.
All right, I'm
But
not against it.
it's going to come to a boil, and the moment it comes to a boil, we're going to turn it down to a simmer, which is barely boiling. We're going to put the top on, and we're just going to let it simmer for about 10 minutes.
So it's not like boiling chicken. We don't keep the water boiling.
No,
or
because
whatever liquid we're using, we don't keep that boiling.
Right, because what will happen if you boil this for the whole time, it's going to really toughen it. This is a great way to make chicken so that it's very moist, And obviously with no fat either, it's very quick.
Cover this, and then when it starts to boil, we want to turn it right down to a
Yes.
simmer. So let's let this...
Cover.
All right, let's look at this. Oh! Let's turn this down. That's what
boiling.
it was boiling, right?
That's right.
So we got to take it down now.
That's right. And you can already see how the chicken's starting to turn white. So it's starting to cook. And because we didn't completely cover this all over, we'll turn them over
Okay.
just to be sure that they cook all the way through. Let's put the top back on. Let
Okay,
them simmer
it's
for a
just-
couple of minutes.
But that's simmering.
That's simmering. See, it's just barely
It's just barely. You want to get it to the point where it's still boiling, but not boiling
boiling over.
Okay. So we'll cover this for a little while longer?
Right?
All right, should we look at this again?
Let's look at this.
Oh, look at that.
See, it's already turning.
So do we need? So we do need to turn it though,
I would
right?
turn it. Now here, let's look at how we know whether this is getting done or not. We know that, see how soft that is?
Yeah, oh, that's nice.
And that's still, it's still soft. But if
But soft means it's not there yet.
it's not there yet. So let's flip those, all 4 of those pieces over.
Okay.
Now touch that part of the breast. See the difference?
Oh yeah, it's more firm.
It's getting firm. And so that's what you're looking for when it gets done. So
Right.
this needs maybe a couple more minutes.
You know, I'll tell you, there's nothing like the smell of poached chicken, especially when it's been poached in orange juice.
Now, what you could do is that you could let it kind of cool in the liquid a little bit, and the chicken, and then you could also bone it if you wished.
Right.
If you wanted the bones out. But this is you could serve it like this. You could serve it just about any old way.
Very tender. Oh, you can taste it.
It's
Taste the
tender.
orange juice. Very good.
This dish can be served hot with rice or pasta, or cool on a bed of greens. If you're really low on time, you can even make this dish in the microwave. Just a thought.
Side items. Just like Michael Jordan needs teammates and Jerry Lewis needs French people, a great entree needs side dishes to reach its full potential. Here are some suggestions. Toasted pasta.
This dish is delicious, fast, and can be made from ingredients right from your cupboard or fridge. Here's what you'll need to pull out.
1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 12-ounce package of small-shaped pasta, 1 15-ounce can of stewed tomatoes, 3 cups of water, salt and pepper to taste, a pinch of sugar.
The idea of toasting the pasta before it actually cooks gives it an additional flavor.
So we're toasting
We're toasting it dry.
I see.
And you can use any of your favorite pasta. I've put about a tablespoon or 2, just a little bit extra, of olive oil in there. And what we're going to do is put pasta in.
Okay.
We want to mix it up so it gets coated by the olive oil. You can see it's starting to get shiny in the places where the olive oil is hitting it.
How am I doing here?
You're doing great. What I'm doing now is I'm going to put in the liquid. So here goes the tomatoes. And we're going to turn it down. Put in our liquid.
That's 3 cups of water
3 cups of water
and
plus
1 can of stewed tomatoes.
And a can of stewed tomatoes
and garlic,
and garlic.
as you're famous for. Boy, I'll tell you, nothing beats the smell of toasted pasta.
I'm also going to put in a pinch of sugar to counterbalance the acid of the tomatoes. It's not going to make it sweet, it just gives it a little balance. You start with a small pinch because you're not sure of what the flavor is. Sure, taste it, and then you can always add more.
Right. You're adding some pepper.
I'm just putting a little pepper in. Let's put the cover on. When it comes to a boil, we're going to turn the heat down to medium, low. We're going to then take the lid and put it at an angle so it's partially covered and that the liquid boils out.
So you're letting some of the steam escape and it makes it a little thicker.
And it'll be thickened up and it'll be really quite a tasty dish.
Excellent.
So there you are.
Let me have it on. I want to try a real toasted piece.
Yeah.
You can see how that's toasted.
So if you like things really toasty,
Oh, that does change the flavor.
Doesn't it change the flavor? And even the ones that aren't toasted, you still have the additional, you can tell.
Oh, it
that
bleeds
it's
over a
yeah.
little bit. Boy, that is
So it's
very good.
It's very tasty.
If you want, you can further embellish this recipe by tossing in a pinch of dried herbs or some chopped fresh basil, oregano, or parsley. You can serve this baby alone or with almost any main dish and a salad. Just a thought.
Marcy's mashed potatoes.
Potatoes can be baked, boiled, mashed, smashed, or hurled at your enemies to make a quick escape. Here's what you need to make delicious mashed potatoes with a twist.
4 medium potatoes scrubbed and chunked, 4 to 6 cloves of peeled garlic, half a cup of non-fat milk.
Now I brought a couple of different potatoes to show you. These are kind of medium-sized white potatoes. These are what is known as sometimes new potatoes or red potatoes. They hold together very well if you're making salads. And the russets, which are the ones that are pretty common and we all love because they are their baked potato, are the ones that I like to use for making mashed potatoes. If you've got a microwave, what you can do is bake your potatoes, okay? We baked 2 potatoes. It takes about 7 minutes in the microwave to bake a potato. And then what you do is all you have to do is just cut them up into small pieces, because what we're gonna do is put them in the bowl, and we're gonna mash them.
Oh, that's quick.
Just like that. And here, if you wanted to, because the skin comes off a little bit easier, you could actually take it off. But again, the flavor of the skin, it adds more texture. It gives you some additional bite and flavor to the potatoes.
My grandma called them dirty potatoes.
Dirty
mashed potatoes.
Dirty mashed potatoes. Be sure you do scrub your potatoes before you use them. If you're not going to peel them, just take your hand and really rub them real hard over some cold water so that you do get all the extra, if there's any dirt on them. Like these haven't been washed, so you can see there's just a little bit of dust on them and so forth.
Now what else do we need to put in with these already baked potatoes?
I'm going to just start to kind of mash them down. And one of the things that I do like to do, because these have not been cooking in any water, so we could put a little bit of milk in. You can make mashed potatoes as fattening or as skinifying as you want. And we're using non-fat milk, but you could use full fat. You could even use
buttermilk?
You could use buttermilk, which isn't really all that fattening. You could also use cream. Lots of people love cream, just a dash of cream.
You want me to mash for you?
You can mash. And you could, because I used non-fat milk, I could use a little bit of butter in there. And the butter would give it an additional flavor too.
I tend to like a lot of creamy, buttery taste.
Okay, for you, we're gonna put in a little bit of butter. Okay, how's that?
Great.
I'm just gonna put in a teeny little bit of parsley. If you had some green onion, it's all in what your own taste is. You could add a little bit of sour cream. That would give it a little bit of extra flavor. So Christiana's a creamy soul. I'm kind of the more chunky soul.
That's how I like them.
Okay.
Very good.
Good.
Remember, you can use any kind of potatoes to make mashed potatoes. Russets make fluffy mashed potatoes. Red and white potatoes stay firm for a drier taste. You can also include garlic, onions, or parsley in the recipe to spice it up.
Applesauce.
You get to a point in your life when you just need some mashed fruit. Applesauce is always there to fill the need, but Marcy tells me applesauce, as popular as it is often overpriced and overly sweet if bought in the supermarket. Hey, apples are available all the time, so here's a recipe for homemade applesauce.
4 large apples, cored, peeled, and chopped. The juice of a half a lemon or orange. A pinch of ground cinnamon. 1/4 a cup of water or juice. 1/4 a cup of raisins.
The basis of the applesauce is really finding some really good apples. This is a wonderful dish to make during the wintertime when apples are so prevalent. And whatever color you want to use is fine. I happen to like the green ones because they're a little more tart. I just have always had a thing about tart things. Why don't we give you one of the red apples, because it's a pretty one to do.
Now, is there a certain, you just kind of guessed on how many apples? Do you say I need 10 medium apples, or?
When you're making applesauce, you can really just do
Take
as much
what you
as
got.
Exactly.
Basically, I just want to get apple in here. I don't want skin, I don't want seeds. I'm just going to put some fresh apple in here.
There's 2 ways to do this.
Sure.
You can peel it and core it and take all the seeds out first.
Right.
Or if you're feeling a little bit lazy and you happen to have a strainer or a food mill, which is something that you put food into and it goes around like this by hand, and it's a great gadget to have in your kitchen because you can make lots of things pureed. If you don't have either of those 2 things, if you do have one of those 2 things, then you can just cut up these apples, bang, 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 cut them into small pieces, they go in, and then you run it through.
You're still doing the work, it's just later,
You're still
Marcy.
doing the work.
Come on. I want to get my work done up front.
Okay.
Throw this in, and we're going to start making it. So why don't you grab a magazine, sit down for about 10 minutes. I'm going to peel these apples, and we'll be right back. All right, here we are. We're back 10 minutes later. I am finishing the last of the peeling.
You've done a great job. Do you know that?
Thank you very much. It's a dirty job, but somebody had to do it, Marcy.
That's true. And now that our apples are cut up, we add a little bit of cinnamon, and you can just put a teeny bit in. If you don't like cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg. If you don't like any of those, it doesn't really matter. You don't have to put anything in. A little bit of orange juice or a little bit of lemon juice, and either of these two things will also keep the apples from turning brown.
Now the orange or the lemon doesn't conflict or fight with the apple?
Actually, because it is a little bit sweet, that's one of the reasons you don't even have to use any sugar if you don't want to. It's an additional flavor that goes on. And if you wanted to really be creative, you could put a little bit of our zest in, just a teeny bit. We're just going to put this on the stove right now. The apples have a lot of moisture in them. You don't want to put it on high heat. You want to put it on a medium to low heat. And in about 10 or 15 minutes, these chunks will be cooked down.
Ah.
Ooh, that smells good.
Nothing beats the smell of apples simmering on a hot stove. Marcy, do we need to do anything to these right now?
Yes, give it 1 or 2 stirs.
All right.
And while we're doing that, you can actually take a look and see how cooked the apples are getting.
Okay.
Are they still a little bit hard?
The smaller pieces are soft, the bigger pieces are a little bit hard still.
So it's going to take us a couple more minutes, and actually it also gives us something to remind everyone, and that is that the smaller the pieces, the quicker the food is going to cook.
Okay. So we need to let these go a little bit longer?
Just a little bit longer.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, we're back. I think we're ready here, Marcy.
Look at those apples.
I mean, they're very soft.
They're soft.
Is this where the mashing comes in?
Yes.
There's no really orthodox method, right?
The side works as a great place to push the food against it so you can mash it. Otherwise, it's hard to get your hand down in it to mash.
Right.
So.
Now, what about something like a potato masher? Can you do that?
Potato masher would be wonderful, but lots of people...
It's not how you get it mashed. It's you just need to get it mashed.
You just need to get it mashed.
Do I need to add anything to this now? I guess I keep thinking that there's more to this than what you've shown me.
See, that's what's so nice about it. It's so simple. We could put some raisins in. You could put some nuts in. You could do anything.
But just for straight up applesauce, this is all I do.
This is the beginning right here.
Oh, that's good. It's hot, but it's very good.
You can eat this stuff as a side dish with poultry or meat, but you can also use it as a component for dessert.
Well, that's the whole shebang.
The whole enchilada. Time to pack it up.
Go home.
Hit the road.
Head for the border.
Jump ship.
The fat lady has sung. La!
And she ain't gonna sing no mo'. We hope you've gotten a lot out of our little foray into the world of cooking.
If you want more information, be sure to check out Marcy Rothman's The $5 Chef Family Cookbook or The $5 Chef, How to Save Cash and Cook Fast. If you'd like to order either one of these, call 1-888-243-3535. Or if you have any questions about this video, call us at Cerebellum at 1-800-238-9669.
And if you're thirsting for knowledge, be sure to check out our no-brainers on wine, dating, resumes and cover letters, buying a new car, and the internet.
Otherwise, good luck and good eating.